Hello, everyone! Blue Star Saber here once again to discuss another Star Wars the Book of Boba Fett review, Episode 3, also known as, Chapter 3 actually, The Streets of Mos Espa, in which, Boba Fett, we'll follow up on from the last episode of where we finally get the conclusion of appears to be the conclusion of the Tusken Raiders flashback, and Boba Fett learns more and more who exactly he is dealing with in this rival gangs and all that stuff. But before all that, let's get to the summary of the episode, and where the episode opens up back at where Boba Fett is getting a briefing from the 88 about how the territory is divided up by Bid Fortuna after he took over from Jabba, who the droid doesn't want to say Jabba's name, but Boba Fett says he can say it and all that stuff. And it reveals that the episodes divided into three parts. The Trojans took the city center, while the Aqualish took the workers' district, and the Katoonies took over the starport and the upper sprawl. They're sort of like these dog-like whisker rays. You might, remember one of them being a part of Ura Singh's crew and all that stuff. But anyway, while they're discussing all this, Gamorrean ends up revealing that, and they're all being in the pockets of the Mayor Mok Shazar and all that stuff. Anyway, while this is happening, Gamorrean says that they have a visitor, Love Peel. They're sort of like watermonger who's, I guess, in charge of the water in Mos Espa and all that stuff. Mos Eisley. I'm getting all the names mixed up, but yeah, he seems to be a sort of like old man farmer kind of thing, where he tells Boba Fett that there's this cybernetic biker gang that's disrupting his business and all that stuff, causing chaos. Well, no one respects him, and he requests that Boba Fett deal with him while offering to double the tribute of like the water and all that stuff to him, which Fett accepts to offer, in which the Gamorreans and Fennec Shan all go to confront these bikers led by a female named Dras, who has cybernetic legs and all that stuff, I believe, and I think a cybernetic arm. Boba Fett questions them for the crime they did, though they reveal that they did it because the guy overcharged them for like a week's worth of water to like a month's worth of price, and the fact that they have no work to do and all that stuff. So Boba Fett offers the cybernetic biker gang to work for him, all that stuff, which they accept. However, Lofa Pale is not happy about this, given how much they're getting away the money they still owe him and all that stuff, which was revealed to be 1,300 credits, which Boba Fett thought that was a swindle, so he decides to settle them out by giving them 500 credits, 5 more credits, even though he protests, but Boba says take it and not to charge too much water, as the biker gang leaves with him and all that stuff as we cut to the opening scenes. Probably opening title and all that stuff. I should probably mention that the special logo with all the iconic helmets and droid faces and all that stuff at the beginning of the intro, they've changed it so that instead of the Mandalorian being the last one, it's now Fennec Shand and Boba Fett, which I suppose goes to show that depending on the Star Wars TV series, they will change it up a bit and all that stuff. So it's not going to be just one thing, which, to be fair, is probably going to happen a lot with other Star Wars shows we get, which makes me curious to see what the next animated Britzy show after the Bad Batch is going to be, but who knows. But anyway. Boba Fett goes back to his bacta tank, where he was remembering his time with the Tusken Raiders, in which he is just going out on the Bantha to discuss the Pikes while the Tuskens look on. But he's seemingly becoming one with the tribe and all that stuff, in which the Piker leader, the escort leader that he was meeting last time. During this case, I should probably mention that I think while Boba Fett is exploring Mos Eisley and all that stuff, we get a cameo of Motto with her three repair droids that you might remember from The Mandalorian. Let's see, who sometimes takes care of Baby Yoda and all that stuff. But yeah. Anyway, that's a nice cameo. But anyway, let's see. During this, Boba Fett, as one of the terms have been met, though, the Pike leader says that this gang called the Quinton Striders have also claimed that this is that turf and that stuff. They don't want to charge two different types of people, so Fett agrees to get rid of them. However, by the time that Fett comes back to the Tusken Raiders, they have been. It's revealed that they have all been slaughtered by the biker gang, as you can see their markings. So Boba Fett, in sadness, gathers up their remains and pays tribute, and Britty, with the Tusken funeral of burning and the fire and all that stuff, putting their weapons and all that stuff together and all that stuff, as he rides along with his bantha, assumingly ending the flashback, unless for now, but I guess there'll be more talks later. But just as we get to that bit, Boba Fett is being attacked, by Black Coruscantan, who, with these shock knuckle things, ends up giving Boba quite a fight, using him trying to use the Tusken weapon stick that he still has and all that stuff. Though he ends up being assisted, but eventually by the biker gang he's recruited, and the Gamorreans, who fight well, but they get knocked out and all that stuff. I think one of the Gamorreans being bitten. However, it's not until the assistance by Fennec Shand that they're able to trap the Wookiee inside the Rancor pit and all that stuff, trapping him there as a prisoner and all that stuff. Anyway, we cut to the following day where Boba Fett is eating and all that stuff, and knows that the Hutts are behind this. With him and Fennec Shand going back and forth what to do, whether or not to wait or for them to make a move, or whether or not Boba should make a move. Boba being the latter and Fennec Shand being the former. However, the two the Hutt siblings, are actually outside and all that stuff, where Boba Fett goes to meet him, and the Hutts end up admitting that they did send the Wookiee to kill Boba and all that stuff, but they have apologized as they learned that it seems Tatooine is a dead end for them and all that stuff, and that the mayor has already arranged for other people to take over the turf and all that stuff. However, as a bit of apology and offering, they offer Boba Fett a new Rancor and all that stuff. As a token of their apology, Boba Fett offers to give them back the Black Krrsantan and all that stuff. However, it's on the condition that they leave Tatooine and never come back to claim Jabba's turfs. However, the Hutt says they have no need of them. They can. Let's see, the Wookiee is at Boba's disposal and all that stuff, and they leave, warning him that he's probably best off with Tatooine as well. Boba decides to let the Wookiee go and tells him not, and gives him advice not to, make deals with slime balls like that, work for slime balls like the Hutts. So the Wookiee pounces off with Fennec Shand, wondering if that was wise or not. But anyway, let's see. Boba decides that it's time that they start having another meeting with the mayor. But before that, Boba Fett is coming to check out his new Rancor with the Tamer that's also sticking with it, in which we learn a bit about the Rancors, about how it bonds with the first person it sees, in which it's currently blind, and which allows Boba Fett to, which the Rancor then opens up to Boba Fett, and with Boba Fett and the Rancor bonding, and of him asking the trainer that he wants to ride the Rancor, which the guy says it'll be hard to do and all that stuff, but it'll take some discipline and all that stuff. However, the 88 revealed that the mayor is not receiving any of their calls and all that stuff. So Boba Fett decides to pay a direct visit, in which we end up encountering that Twi'lek Major Durmo, where Boba and the biker gang have come to visit them. Since now Boba Fett has more members, he doesn't need to have the Gamorreans with him all times and all that stuff. But anyway, Boba Fett demands to see the mayor, but the mayor decides that the Twi'lek says that the mayor is rather busy, and it was though granted with a bit of threatening from Fennec Shand. He says that he'll go and try and see what he can do. However, he locks the door, so they break in and realize that the mayor's not there, and the Twi'lek has escaped. So Boba Fett has the biker gang go after them in a sort of speed chase where they go cool kinds, all the kind of things, like destroying a painting, which I think had Jabba the Hutt in, nearly crashing into like a bunch of a Biff couple on their sort of like stroll, on sort of like one of those droid walker things on the carriage that Anakin and Padme did when they came in an attack on the clones to Tatooine. So eventually, Drash is able to capture the Twi'lek, and Boba Fett ends up questioning him, revealed that the mayor has gone to the Pikes, as Boba Fett realizes that they're behind all the things, as we end up seeing like a shutter with with about a dozen Pikes coming out of it, in which one of Boba Fett's new men, one of the cyborg men with a cyborg eye, is following them. And informs Boba Fett, which Boba Fett congratulates with a little joke about the eye. With Fennec Shand realizing that the Pikes are planning a war, and Fett declares at the end that they'll be prepared for it, ending the episode. I have to say, this episode ended up in a lot of places that I did not expect, and some twists that I did not expect. But anyway, first off, I like how Boba Fett is slowly building up his forces and his gang and family, if you will, crime family, if you will, throughout the episodes, where at first, he's learning about who owns what turfs, which are Asians and the other alien gangs and all that stuff with the men, all that stuff. So which Boba Fett can learn how to make deals with in the future, as eventually they're going to either side with him or against him, if you will. Meanwhile, he also ends up recruiting this young group of cyborg gangs led by this female character called Dash, who I'm not sure what the fandom's response is yet, though. Who knows? It's very likely she becomes a fan favorite. Who knows? Perhaps maybe the new Cara Dune, if you will, since, well, due to the controversies with the actress and Disney, it will no longer be appearing in any Star Wars medium, but best to get out of that, but who knows? Perhaps this could be a good replacement. We'll have to wait and see. I know, I just yet to see how the fans reacted to this character, but I like how Boba Fett says, all right, you want work, you can work for me, and they show their loyalty with Boba punishing the water monger for his cheap for expensive prices and tries to make it more reasonable. I have a feeling he might try and swindle Boba in the future. All that stuff, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see, or he's just a one-time character. But yeah. But anyway, I do like how. Anyway, so I like that. And they've already sort of to prove their worth a bit, as we end up seeing all the sort of how their cyborg enchantments work to make them stronger, such as knife feet, extended arms and legs, flamethrowers, and all that stuff. So, and cybernetic eyes. So they're all doing well, and I definitely liked the bike chase with them with the Twi'lek and all that stuff. And it was definitely funny with the broken painting, and then they crashing into that Biff couple. So that was funny. Well, that was more of the Twi'lek's fault, really. But yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if Darash eventually becomes Boba Fett's third in command, if you will, and all that stuff, but who knows? let's see, we have to see how long these bikers are in for the long run and all that stuff. Let's see. Anyway, I have to admit, let's see, the Tuscan storyline ended up being concluded in something I was not expecting, but let's see, but it, I think is very tragic, but very well, let's see, done in the way it was handled, where Boba Fett is about to try and make sure that the deal with where Boba Fett has finally become a part of the tribe, and he's trying to be a peace deal maker between them and the Pikes. But let's see, but they're saying like get rid of the Clinton Striders and then we'll talk. However, when Boba comes, let's see, however, they're all being killed, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Pikes ordered the Clinton Striders to do the dirty work, given the fact that the Pikes appear to be now the true antagonists for this first season of the Book of Boba Fett, but more on that later. But it was very respectfully handled, and I think there's even some, let's see, possibly maybe even Boba Fett looked like he was trying to, holding back tears, I guess, from what I can tell. However, Boba Fett has still kept the weapon he got from them and all that stuff, as we saw with the Mandalorian, and even still now in the Book of Boba Fett when he gets like attacked by the Wookiee. But yeah, so yeah, let's see. So it's rather tragic, and no doubt that let's see if Boba Fett's going to war with the Pikes. No doubt due to what happened with if he finds out that they were behind the Tuscan slaughter, no doubt this will become a bit more personal for him. But perhaps, who knows, perhaps Boba Fett might try and unite all the other Tuscan clans still. I'm not sure just yet, but I do know that, let's see, with them, I was hoping that I was expecting them to appear later in the outside flashbacks, but that now seems to not be the case. It's rather tragic, really, but yeah. Anyway, let's see. Black Kriston. Let's see. Star Wars fans who read the comics and all that stuff know how ferocious this Wookiee is. And now, let's see, general audiences, or those who only watch like the TV stuff, kind of like me, really. But I do act some books and all that stuff, but I still need to, read them all. Still need to read all that stuff. Now get to see just how ferocious this Wookiee is. Let's see, as he nearly kills like a Boba Fett, though granted Boba Fett was not in his armor and all that stuff and had to rely on his stick thing. But it was capable of fighting off like, let's see, 4 cybernetic biker gangs, 2 Gamorreans and all that stuff, and was only defeated when Fennec Shand trapped in the Rancor pit and all that stuff. Granted, it seems that this was done so that the Hutts can try and quickly kill Boba, but it's interesting that they've also been being duped into like trying to claim the Tatooine thing, but they quickly admit that, okay, we're sorry we tried to kill you, but it's mostly just a token of apology. But let's see, they decide that Tatooine is not really worth it, given the fact that it's now seeming going to be now owned by the Pikes and all that stuff. So they rather not start a gang war with them. So they offer Boba Fett this Rancor, but decide that it's not worth it and suggest give Boba Fett the same advice. Anyway, he spares the Wookiee who Ritzy pelts off, but I don't think we've seen the last of this Wookiee. I could be wrong. He could appear in either later seasons of the Book of Boba Fett or even The Mandalorian. Now, I do wonder if perhaps the Wookiee has a bit of a life debt or not to Boba Fett now. But who knows? Perhaps maybe the Wookiee will come back into Boba Fett's employment or become an adversary again. But I doubt. Let's see. Star Wars is going to kill off this Wookiee anytime soon, given the fact that this menacing Wookiee third Wookiee gladiator is definitely become a fan favorite for merchandising and all that stuff. Anyway, I'm curious to see. But anyway, let's see. But it's curious to see. It's interesting that the show has yet to really go on a bit about the Wookiees. Past history with working with Boba Fett, though granted they weren't really working, I guess, from what I recall, directly. Because I think because I believe Darth Vader both hired them once and all that stuff from the Star Wars comics. Anyway, I just kind of like. Anyway, it seems like we're finally concluding with like the minor that let's see Twi'lek character. Let's see the Domo where he tries to commercially try to remove a Boba Fett and let's see lock the doors and all that stuff, but eventually gets caught and reveals that okay, yep, the mayor is the one being antagonistic to Boba Fett, but as I've been talking throughout, let's see, he's working with the Pikes, and it's clear that I think it's clear now. Let's see, the Pikes are going to be the antagonists, the main antagonists, at least for the first season of the Book of Boba Fett. Let's see. In many ways, the first half is just like setting up like Boba Fett building his crime gang. Let's see, claiming his turfs and all that stuff. And now, let's see, and learning his flash history with the Tusken Raiders and how he survived the Sarlacc pit and all that stuff. So now it looks like the Pikes are going to be the main adversaries, which I do like how the designs have come quite a long way from Solo of how they are able to use the practical effects, and the helmets are much more smaller size and all that stuff. So that'll be more interesting and all that stuff. It's nice to see a crime gang created from the Clone Wars from George Lucas now being integrated to like the live action series and all that stuff, showing how much the legacy of that of the Star Wars the Clone Wars has had on the larger Star Wars universe and all that stuff. I won't be surprised if we see that Pike that Boba Fett was dealing deals with, like from the Tatooine flashback. Well, speaking of some other cameos, let's see. One thing I find was a little bit lazy was the reuse of Boba Fett, of the same scene of Boba Fett watching as Django's Slave One flies off on Kamino from like the last episode. But I did like the cameo from Palamoto. It's just like she's just walking there. It's just like it's a little nod. It's nothing too. It's not like in your face kind of thing. It's like, oh, cool. Let's see. You could miss it if you're not paying attention. All that stuff. But anyway, the last thing that I also found fascinating is the fact. Is that besides Tusken Raiders, the Book of Boba Fett is exploring more of. Giving more depth to the Rancor as we learn a bit more about, about the species as well. The Rancor, as we only know about the Rancor from Return of the Jedi, though I think a few Rancors have a few times in the Clone Wars, and was supposed to be in the Clone Wars movie, but that was cut. But we end up learning that they bond with the first person they see, and they spawn a special bond, which might be why that Tamer from Return of the Jedi was crying so much when Jabba's Rancor was killed and all that stuff. But yeah. Anyway, let's see. So so Boba Fett's bonding with it, wondering why it's like blinded, and and learning about it needs to be first person that sees the bond, and it seems like it's just why it's not moving about as it's been only trained to like fighting gladiators thing and all that stuff, but Boba Fett learns there's more to this creatures than just like merciful killers, and they're normally not all that threatening if you leave them alone and all that stuff. So it goes to show you there's more to a species than what is shown in the movies and all that stuff. But yeah, because when creatures appear in Star Wars, it's mostly just a monster to fight for the episode or for the heroes to try and avoid and escape. The exceptions being Revenge of the Sith and The Last Jedi from like the Skywalker saga and all that stuff. So yeah. And it's interesting how Boba Fett wants to ride this Rancor. So I think probably by at least towards the end of the season, we're probably going to see Boba Fett riding a Rancor into battle as he battles the Pikes and all that stuff. But yeah. So overall, it's a good episode. It's not as long as episode 2, but it's more around the length of like the first episode. But it does its job. It shows Boba Fett building up his forces as he learns that the Pikes of his enemies and all that stuff, while and is preparing for war for or against them. While we're also getting a conclusion with like the Tusken Raider flashback. Though whether or not that will be the last flashback, as we might end up getting more of the flashback of how Boba Fett rescued Fennec Shand and eventually discovered where his old armor is, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, overall, give it a 9 out of 10. It was a great episode, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Let's see, next week. I am Blue Star Saber, signing off. May the Force be with you, and goodbye.